or blue therapy. I don't think I mentioned blue therapy in the thing, but if you were watching it, then you already know. You know, it's funny. I was watching like Ami's, but B-Ami. If you haven't subscribed to her channel, BAMIE, make sure you subscribe to that right now. But still watch this video. Don't get it twisted. But then anyway, because she had part 1 and part 2 too, and I was like, huh. I would have still watched if it was longer than the actual show. But then when recording, it's a different story, innit? Anyway, so part 12, or point 12, let's say. Chioma feels as though Paul's sister doesn't like her because she's always has something to say about her. For example, she doesn't know how to look after kids but leaves her children with Chioma. Now, yeah, I think that's a bit wild. If I feel like if I feel like you can't look after children, I am not letting you look after my child or my children. I'm just not letting you. Yeah, and it's easy for me to say because I'm a man, right? But I'm just very possessive, possessive, because it's like they're your pride and joy in it, and children are children. You know what I mean? So it's like you want to make sure that they are in the best environment, they're around the best people, so they can grow and adapt to be even better than those people that they are around. Yeah, you have to be very strategic in a way that you are raising children. Yeah, because they follow your lead. Yeah, not what you say. I'm gonna repeat that again. They follow your lead in terms of your example. They follow you. They copy you, not what you say. I'll tell you what. They don't. Yeah. Alright, you know, let me just break it down. Here's the link in the description box below. It says become a member of the Alkebulantrust. You get access to online courses such as parenting. Then you get the full grasp of understanding and exactly what I mean. Alright? But back to that. It's interesting that Chioma feels that way. And let's be real, there's some women that do exaggerate on how they think someone has a perception of them. At one point, I don't want to say women. Did I say women? That, like, in general, people have this. Sometimes I could think, oh, that person thinks of me this way, blah blah blah. And then when you speak to them, just like, no, I didn't even think about you that way, like that. Do you see what I'm saying? Or just because they may have said that, or maybe she did say that out of not. What's the word I want to look for? You know when some people say something, yeah, they're like, oh, you don't have to look after kids. Like, it could be in like a banter way, or, do you know what I mean? Everything is dependent on how it was said and when it was said. Do you see what I mean? So you've got to be very, 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 very careful with it. Otherwise, I'm thinking, why would she, do you know what I mean? That wouldn't make sense to me. But, yeah, but she did use the word dump as well. Dump the kids. So if you're looking at that, even Paul was mentioning, you know, to do with the case of, oh, well, you know what I mean? Like, he's basically seeing that is Chioma the right woman to end up having children with, to help raise these children. Do you see what I mean? And the way, if you're using words dumping children and all this stuff there, it's like, nah. Me personally, I'm like, from that moment, if I know I want to have kids, and you're acting around like that with my nieces or my nephews or whatever, yeah, you have to go. You have to go. Like, not tomorrow, but right now. Yeah? Anyway. So he has to man up. Do you know what I mean? In that situation. And same thing with Chioma. She needs to woman up and just leave. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you don't want to be in that situation, you know what I mean? And you feel like, just leave. I don't understand why some people can't just get up and leave a relationship if you've got no attachment. And when I talk about no attachment, I'm talking about being married or having children. Children is fair enough, cool, yeah. But at the same time, you can still co-parent, and you still leave and be a co-parent. Marriage, cool, you can still get a divorce. It's that to me, things are fucking simple. But if people want to complicate their lives, that's them, innit? The other point is, yeah, remember I said about Paul tells Denise that his family's irrelevant, background is irrelevant. I mentioned that kind of earlier, so I'm gonna skip that. 14 point, Paul has a different view. He sees Chioma and his sister get along. You see what I mean? Perception. This is what I mean. Everyone's perception of something is always going to be different. It's not always going to be the same. Yeah. So if you, and I believe even if it's like, what would you do in that situation? Do you know what I mean? Like if you're not seeing that, you know what I mean? But if now that she's brought it up, now it is really up to him to now bring them together to find a resolution. You know what I mean? Because if he wants to be with her, with Chioma, and you know what I mean, she's gonna be in her life for, she's gonna be in his life for a long time, innit? Like, well, that's the plan. But you know, can't tolerate disrespecting your sister either. To think, and you can't tolerate your sister disrespecting your woman either. Like, so you've got to find a way to be the mediator and solve this problem. Yeah, be the man and solve this problem. The 15th point. Paul also feels there isn't one positive thing that Chioma has said throughout the session. Alright, so here's the thing, right? The thing about therapy sessions, it's kind of it's a weird one, because you really want to bring up certain negative stuff that you're feeling and, you know what I mean, have thoughts on and stuff like that. So if it's the negative stuff, then yeah, highlight the negatives and you can whatever. But maybe it would have been nice to start off with something positive, because it's like, for example, there's this one particular, I'm not going to say the person's name, yeah, but it's what they normally do. They sweet talk them, innit? They say all these nice stuff about them in the beginning, and then after a while, now that they're comfortable, you know what I mean? Now that's when they ask certain type of questions, and they're so relaxed about it, so relaxed that they end up opening their mouth and just chatting to the point that certain things happen, innit? If they've lived, anyway, I won't go too deep into it, but you know what I mean? Like they run up their gums. Loose lips, what's it? Loose lips sink chips. Anyway, so let's be careful on how you speak and when you speak. I know this is like more than 7 minutes long so far, and the previous video was like over 20 minutes. But there's a reason why I'm running my mouth. Like you can tell, there's a point of action. My thing is, I want people to learn lessons from these type of things, innit? That's my point. So anyway, back to this thing now. All right, so boom. Jamel. Alright, so the 16th point is Jamel blocked Deborah on Clubhouse, and she is insecure about the show he created, which is similar to like a dating show because girls are speaking to him and he entertains it. Now, I'm just gonna be real with you, right? If you're a woman watching this and you're going through a particular situation where your guy is entertaining female attention or whatever, woman up, adult up, yeah? Get out your emotions, get out your feelings, and react with an emotional intelligence. Understand that you have to understand that even subconsciously, you're actually aware subconsciously that actually makes, this sounds so weird. I don't want to, it's weird. Excuse me, it's wow. No edits. It's, yeah, that more or less makes him more attractive. Pause. You see what I mean? So anyways, it's like, it's the same thing with, if the roles were reversed. If women, no, roles were reversed. So if a guy is seeing that his girl's getting bare attention from guys, you may think like, oh, right, do you know what I mean? Subconsciously, you're already thinking, right, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you get me? She's a spice, you know what I mean? So it's just one of those things, but you have to understand, you have to be mature about it and understand that that's my thing, innit? Get me? You can speak to them all you want, but I come up, well, I don't know if they live together, but you know what I mean? But relax, you're not married. This probably gonna sound very harsh, yeah? You're not married, so relax. and this is this thing, unless you, I don't know how it is in different cultures, but as far as I'm aware, no, I'm not getting to that. I'm not getting to that. But either way, if you're insecure, you got to learn how. In fact, before you, let me say this instead. If you're a woman and you have this feeling, this insecure feeling that you don't want other women, you know, being attracted to your guy or you don't want them entertaining your guy, whatever, or your guy entertaining them, whatever. You got to learn how to deal with your emotions, yeah, and plus learn how to deal with your problems effectively, so you don't really think and feel these ways. Because look, let's be real. Just imagine for a second, you have two situations. In fact, fuck that. I'm not gonna go into the story because it's over 11 minutes. But the point I'm trying to make is you have to learn to deal with your emotions. Yeah. Listen, I've been there before on the other side of it where I was finding, like, I even went far and beyond. Yeah. Where, in fact, I will tell you a story. I went far and beyond. Yeah. But I'll tell you a different story. I went far and beyond by realizing I know my woman is it, innit? You know what I mean? Like, I know there's other guys that want her, innit? And that's the thing. And that's also so it's competition as well. I'm like, well, how do I take out the competition? How do I eliminate them? Yeah? How do I eliminate the competition? You know what I did? I said, babes, delete those guys' numbers in your phone. Of course she moaned. Of course he complained. But she did it anyway. Do you see what I mean? Because she wanted to make me happy. And in that moment, she made me happy. Now, yeah, she was still more or less upset. But you could say that was I insecure at that point? Of course I was. I was headed insecure. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm not taking any chances. You know what I mean? I'm not taking any chances. Because how you got them is how you get them is how you lose them. There you go. That's all I'm saying on that. And that's why I was probably insecure. Kind of makes sense. But anyway. But I learned different now how to not be insecure and not, like, I'm more secure. Once I learn how to man up, trust me, I'm no longer insecure. I'm no longer insecure. But anyway, where was I? Because I don't want to make this video longer. I don't want to make a part 3. Alright, so it's part 17. Deborah talks about Jamel talking to another woman on the phone while they were out and he brushed it off. Deborah is upset that Jamal didn't tell her what the conversation was about, but in the therapy session, he mentioned what the conversation was about when Denise asked. And obviously, rightfully so, Deborah got upset. Now, here's the thing. To be honest with you, everything should be on a need-to-know basis. I mean, at the end of the day, if it's business, all he has to do is just say, yo, babes, it was just a business conversation with a client. There you go. Do you know what I mean? You ain't got to say anything else more. If she's still upset, that's on her. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, what else can you say? Because you could say, oh, do you know what I mean? Like, considering your business with your clients, be confidential. You hear me? Like, so why should she know about it? Why should she know every single detail? You know what I mean? And he did mention as well, like, one thing I did like what he did was, because he gets more girl clients and more women clients. So she wanted him to have more male clients just to balance it out. And he just said, all right, help me. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you know what's funny? I remember there was a time, yeah, like this is no joke, this is no lie, yeah. This is one of the exes that I had as well. Funny enough, with the same ex that I was talking about in this video as well. So basically, long story short, she like I was saying to her, oh, you should stay over, innit? Like, you start living with me or whatever. And then she just wasn't interested. I'm like, why? And then she mentioned the reason why, because, oh, you're house was a mess, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look at me being open and honest here. It's mad revealing these type of things. But there's a lesson in everything. And yeah, these times here, I was like, help me clean it then, innit? Do you know what I mean? And it's from that moment when she told me that she was not doing that it wasn't her job. I said, yeah? Okay. I know what time it is. That from that moment there, I knew the relationship was over. Because it's like, fuck. You can't even put yourself in the position to help clean my yard. And you want to be you want me to be your man. You want this relationship to lead into marriage. Like, everything matters. Everything. Like, everything matters. Do you think because you're gonna wait till marriage to clean to show me that you have cleaning skills? No, you gotta show me from when I asked you. Do you know what I mean? But cool, it is what it is. But after a while, I learned there are certain things, you know what I mean, that led to certain situations. Now, boom. Now I'm no longer messy, thank God. And then not for the sake of her or women or whatever, but it's like, as you grow older and older and older, you start to realize certain things, and I don't know, just cleanliness and next to godliness, and when you're more godliness or whatever, the more stuff that you need and want attracts into your life, and you manifest that into reality. That's how, for some reason, that works in my favor like that. When my house is a mess or whatever, my life is a mess. When it's clean, my life is clean. Mad. If that happens with you as well, leave it up to the comment section below. Say me too, whatever. Anyway, point 18. Another thing that was brought up was access to each other's phones. The lesson in this situation is, whether you're a man or woman, your phone is your phone, their phone is their phone. Simple as that. Yeah, you don't need access to their phone. You don't need access to their phone. I'll repeat this again. You do not need access to their phone. The only ever time that you need access to their phone is when they unfortunately are either physically deceased, you know what I mean, or in a coma or whatever, and you got to update certain people that are not in your phone book or whatever, and they're in their phone book, and yeah, that's the only other way. Other than that, you don't need access to their phone. You just don't need it. All right. Now, I pray to God you don't ever put yourself in a situation where they have to be in a coma or physically deceased. But you know what I mean. Anyway, point 19. Wow, there's more to this, and it's only 18 minutes long. Raw. All right, let me see if I can speed this up. I'm gonna try and speed up my voice as well, because I've got other videos to record. All right, Sioma believes you sacrifice a lot of your life when you have children. I don't believe that's necessarily true, because your children are part of you, and this is the thing. This is what's so mad about life, yeah? Life in the Western world, yeah? If you grew up in the Western world and with Western mentality and the programming you to think a certain way, do you know what I mean? Because I've already seen in a previous episode that she didn't want to do housework. I'm not saying that women should only do housework or whatever, but the point I'm trying to make is, in certain cultures and certain lifestyles, it is very different to the Western world. Very, very different. You see what I mean? I genuinely feel like the Western world is more destructive to a family setup than anything else. I'm like, listen, leave your answer in the comment section below if you believe that. Yeah? That the Western way of life, for some reason or the other, whether you're black, white, Asian, doesn't matter. For some reason, the setup, yeah, is very destructive to the family structure. Very destructive, yeah? Especially to the black household. It's very destructive. So, my thing is, from her saying that, I genuinely believe she doesn't want to have children. Genuinely. And if I was Paul, I would end the relationship right there. I wouldn't even have asked her straight up, do you want to have kids? No, I will know from that you put your career first above having children. Nah, fuck that. You know what I mean? If you want to have children, then you need a, and you're a man, you want to have children, make sure you try to get with a woman that actually wants to have a family. There's women out there like that. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about the women that are in their mid-30s and all that stuff. They're desperate to have children. Nah, I'm not talking about those type of women. Because yeah, they are valuable, don't get it twisted. But at the same time, you know, it just depends on your age. Let's be real. It depends on your age. Because if you're 30, in your mid-30s as well, then obviously it's best to get with someone that's mid-30, in their mid-30s as well. So yeah, let me not put age in it. But you don't want to make sure, you don't want them to be super, well, maybe you do want it to be. No, anyway, let me not get into that. Anyway. That's one point. So yeah, she clearly doesn't want, I say clearly, but I don't know specifically, but it's just from her saying, Paul's sister is dumping the kids on them to look after them, and then flipping, other things. It's like, and then that you don't want kids, bruv. Do you know what I mean? She don't want kids, and that's fine if she don't want to have kids. Not every woman is entitled to have kids. Not even entitled, but not every woman is supposed to have kids. You know what I mean? Because of how they may mistreat that child or mistreat those children. Yeah. Anyway. And then the 20th point. Oh, so we got 7 more points. Alright, so let's try and speed this up. Alright, so Paul kept it 100 about how Chioma should feel about Paul's sister's children. Yeah, I think I didn't elaborate on this, but I could try and elaborate on what I remember, why I know it's done. So I think he was saying how we should feel is, oh, because he loves those children so much, you know what I mean? She should love those children equally as well because she loves Paul. Yeah, do you know what I mean? That's how she should feel. Yeah, that's how she should feel, which I think is fair. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's natural. It's like, I'll give you an example. The same ex I'm thinking of, like I was talking about earlier. Like she knew about some of my nieces and my nephews and stuff like that, and the same way that I love them off, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, she had the same level of energy. You know what I mean? She was there trying to give ideas and stuff like that. I remember when she came. Was it her? Or was it someone else? Which ex was it? No, yeah, it was the ex. I remember when she came to see when when one of my nieces was a baby or whatever. Yeah. You see what I mean? And you know what's funny as well? Like, she was not funny, but like I could see how she was. You know what I mean? Like, very maternal. You know what I mean? And I thought, rah, this is the type of woman that, get me, I need in my life. You know what I mean? But the timing was a bit off, if you get what I mean. Like, sometimes it feels like you can meet the right person but at the wrong time. But she was the right person at that time for particular reasons to give this story. It is what it is. The game's a game. I say the game's a game. My life is life, should I say? But yeah, so boom. And then also the 22nd point is, or lesson is, yeah, could Paul and his sister's view on Backchat, yeah, be the reason why Chioma is no longer on Backchat? Now, this is one of his views. He calls it ghetto and ratchet. And I believe he mentioned, because of that and the way some of them are dressed on there as well, like his sister had a particular view of how Chioma was. But the funny thing is, when she was on there, she was one of the most modest ones there. And she was rarely in most episodes anyway. Let's be real, she was rarely in most episodes. But whenever she did speak, you know what I mean? She did speak with a level of intelligence. So, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. And to me, it's not like she dressed provocatively or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, so, to me, there's some things are just an excuse. But the fact that he mentioned, I'm like, cool. I want to know what most backtrack members or whatever, or cast members think about that. That'll be interesting to see. Anyway, so the 23rd point, Jamel spoke realness about what Deborah should do about her insecurities and about him having more female clients. Like I said earlier, about, you know, she should help him. And I think her reaction was, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Like, okay, I'll help you. What do you want me to do? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It wasn't that. Do you see what I mean? Like, if you have a problem about something and then someone said just a solution, act on that solution or present a solution. Do you know what I mean? And I think Denise must have asked her, and then she's all like, I'm gonna try to see if I can edit in like flipping Stormzy.
As I promise, like, and even it's been a weird these past few months, and knowing out.
So yeah, that brings me to the 24th point. Like I mentioned it, Denise asked Deborah, what can Jamel do to make her feel more comfortable, and she couldn't even answer. So again, I promise, like, and even it's been a weird these past few months, and knowing out. 25. Chioma called Paul's sister a bitch. Now, if there's a woman I am in a relationship with, and you're calling my sister a bitch, and we don't have any children, and we're not married, that relationship ends right there. I'm not arguing with you. I'm not raising my voice with you. I'm ending it with you. Because I know there's other women out there that would treat me better and treat my sisters better. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you may feel a way about my sisters, which is understandable for whatever reason. We'll find a resolution to that. But from the moment you call my sister a bitch, and I understand, no, we're not having that at your big age. No. I get if they are like 13, 16 years old. I can get it from them ages. I get it. That's understandable from those ages. But from the moment they're at like adult ages, right, it's gone into 13. Anyway, so yeah, from the moment they're adult ages, no. Life is too short and too long to be with someone that's gonna disrespect your family like that, especially if you've got no kids with them. Now, if you've got kids with them and you're married to them or whatever, it's kind of tricky. But I'll say from that point on, co-parent. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna have that situation or find a way. I don't know. Let's just talk from the point of Chioma and Paul. As far as I'm aware, they don't have any kids, so Paul should just flip and end it. That's you know how many times I've mentioned Paul should end it with Chioma. He should. All right, he should. All right. So boom. 25. Chioma called Paul's. Okay, I mentioned that. 26. Chioma comes across insecure when it comes to how Paul treats his sister compared to her, which now makes sense to why Paul says Chioma needs healing from herself, because he mentioned that as well, like she's healing from herself. And it's true, like everyone, everyone needs healing from themselves, because there are going to be some things that you're going to say or do that's like toxic, innit? So that's why you always consistently develop yourself further. So if you're a man, develop yourself further as a man. If you're a woman, develop yourself further as a woman. And if you're in a relationship or marriage or whatever the case is, then learn more about how dating and relationships or marriage actually work. Simple, you know what I mean? Very, very simple. But yeah, Rod, this is longer than, if you combine part 1 and part 2, this is longer than the actual show.
Halfway. Take a few steps back to go.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
So long story short now, with all these stories, it's just mad. Like I said, end it. And then lastly, Deborah admits she isn't happy despite Jamal saying she is the one he wants to marry. That's why he's working like crazy. Imagine that, he's admitting that, yeah? This is why men should never admit how they feel about women, yeah? This is probably could sound toxic, but it's true. Never admit how you feel. Show with your actions. Because in the first place, that is more or less telling you how you feel, but show with your actions, isn't it? And if she's in agreement with your actions, then it is what it is. If she isn't, oh well. Do you know what I mean? Oh well, there's nothing I can do about that. You know what I mean? Like I'm putting in the action. It's just up to you whether you like it or not. And women are always gonna want more. I remember when I was working, right, CMEX. Like I remember when I was working at a particular job, and it's funny I mentioned in part 1 about sinus. No, that was a different video. Yeah. So I was talking about sinuses, innit? So I was in a different video. Yeah, it was a different video. Anyway, yeah, that was a J. Cole freestyle actually. So make sure you go watch that as well. All right. So, yeah. So the thing is, with that, it's so mad, yeah, because it's like, imagine I'm on the phone to her at break. I'm on the phone to her at break, and I'm like, yeah, I'm speaking to her. I should actually pull out my phone properly. I'm on the phone to her, like, you know what I mean? Well, I've got the thing on, but anyway, like I'm on the phone to her, and it's like, oh, it's now time for me to go. I've got to go, but she wants me to spend more time with her. So it's like, if I spend more time with her on the phone, yeah, there's two things that can happen. I could either get fired, so then there's no income coming in for me to help us go out and do good things and all that stuff there. Or, if I'm still on the phone for her for longer doing what she wants me to do, she no longer has a high interest in me that way. It's so weird. It's so weird. But when I have to go, I'm always in a hurry, she always wants more. It is what it is. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. But anyway. Yeah, so there's so many points to make from that video. There's probably more, but I only jotted down 27. Yeah. But what I'm gonna say is this. Ultimately, you need to learn. The lesson here is just to learn exactly how dating and relationships actually work. Yeah. Learn it in detail. Especially if you are single, or let's say you're in a relationship. Still learn, and then implement. Naturally, you're going to implement what you learn anyway, because naturally what happens is life will always give you a test. Yeah, life will always give you a test, and if you don't pass it, you go for the same test again, but this time it's something different, and then boom. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, until you pass it, then you go to another level. Boom, boom. Like, I don't know why life is like that, but that's how it is. But the link to that is in the description box below. It says become a member of the Alkebulantrust. You get access to online courses such as roles and relationships, and that's where you're gonna get all of that vital piece of information right there. So hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, because you never know the video you suggest might just be next.